Hello! Welcome to episode 46 of Tech A Break with me, Adam Walker from HubSpoke Media, and in the red corner weighing in at... You've done that to me too many times, so I thought I'd do it to you. What's your name?
Andrew from Resilient.
I might have had coffee this morning.
46, mate.
I know.
That's 4 away from the big 5-0.
I know. It's brilliant, isn't it?
It is
It is brilliant.
fabulous.
I was missing for 2 episodes.
Don't worry, my friend. I carried it.
You did carry it. I know.
Sasha and Joe were awesome.
Yes,
They were buzzing.
I've looked at some of the clips that have been brilliant. Absolutely loving it. I need some time, but I'm actually travelling to Inverness on Sunday.
That's up Scotland way.
Yeah, very 6 hours north of here.
Absolutely.
So I hope to get through some podcasts. I always try and listen to at least because we produce podcasts. I always try and listen to not everyone, but I try and get through some.
I try and listen to mine purely because I try and reflect and I could have said that. I could have said that because it's always I'm my own worst critic. But
you are actually, yes, I'd agree.
But trying to help and sort of say, okay, maybe I shouldn't have jumped in there, let the person talk more. So it's nice. But Sasha and Joe, extremely interesting. What was really funny for me is that we had I had the session with Sasha, and afterwards I said I'm having the next podcast with Joe. She went, Joe Long. I went, yeah. She went, my social media person. I'm like, my gosh, small world. So it was fabulous.
Yeah, well, obviously I got to meet Joe at the business network
you did.
event.
That's what I said. We met at the
Great North Ambulance.
Great North Ambulance.
And I met Sasha, obviously, when I first moved in. Was it the Christmas party where
was the
we
Christmas
did
party.
absolutely terrible on the quiz? We played higher and lower, and I got out. I didn't even get to pull a card.
No, you didn't. Absolutely.
You beat me without me having to go.
Absolutely. But Sasha was very impressed with the studio, and they've taken on a lovely new, I want to say, social interactive Frankie. So shout out to Sasha and Frankie. And Frankie then came in and inspected the studio and said to Sasha, we should be doing a podcast.
It is a fabulous thing.
It is. I think a lot of my customers are saying that it's very interesting. I think the whole thing that we mentioned before, I mean, it's like, I don't know what to talk about. I'm like, talk about what you're interested in.
If we can manage it, Andy.
Well, to be honest, if we can go 46 episodes.
Yeah, exactly. No, but it's right. And I think it allows you to go, in fact, here's the perfect example. I had a meeting this week with a client and they're launching, it's like a startup off a shoot off from another company.
All right, okay.
Someone's come into, it's an education trust and they're looking to establish a charity.
Right, okay.
So it's almost like education meets private sector, although it's going to be it's a charity, but you've got to run it as a business.
Of course you have,
so there are some different ramifications that you need to do and follow. And I went, you need to listen to our episode of Business in a Box.
Business in a Box.
Yep, so I've sent that link to them.
Good.
To go, here we go, there might be some things that are helpful in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there's an example where it's almost doing a bit of work for me and helping people out. Oh, Alina's taking a photo. Hey, I wonder what she was doing then. It was alarming me. She was standing.
I thought she was just getting up saying, right, see you later, guys.
So you went missing this week.
I did.
Where have you been?
London.
The London?
No, not really. It was in Esher.
Close enough.
Hillingdon.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Being busy?
I can talk about it now.
Can you? Yeah,
I can. I was doing the 4th anniversary for Mike Reed's Heritage Chart Show, and we did over 2 days, we did a 90-minute episode of, call it in the style of Top of the Pops.
Yeah.
But we had some lovely artists singing live with a crowd, etc. So I was a backhand stage running around. I got to meet people like Paul Young, Cheryl Baker, Bucks Fizz, Ray Dorset from Mungo and Jerry, Paul Young from Los Pacaminos, Katrina from Katrina and the Waves.
Look at you rubbing shoulders with all these legends of
Absolutely,
music.
the Jive Aces, P.P. Arnold, the Flirtations. It was just fabulous, man. It was literally Top of the Pop style, running around, changing stages, going to get the artist. Excuse me, Mr. Young, are you ready?
Really?
Yeah, literally. And then setting up the stage for them, moving their gear, moving the equipment, and then, retake. That person was in the wrong place and stuff like that. So real in behind, like what you do for a living.
Yeah.
I was there being directed by Paul. Good shout out to Paul, who recently has done Glastonbury.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so hopefully that's going to be not officially launched, I think, but sometime around the end of this month, 1st of August. And then it'll go out on all the streaming platforms. I'll obviously pass on to somebody. I think my social media guy is called Alina.
Legend. Alina is a legend.
Yeah, he is a legend. But hopefully from a resilient point of view, I'll put that out.
Space,
oh, that's really good. Honestly, just thrilled and honoured to meet those people.
And this, I suppose, coming back to whether it's podcasting or journeys, like the podcasting thing's been really interesting because I've met a lot of people now who have been coming in as guests,
right?
Who I'd never meet, sort of thing. It's been incredible to see all these different people coming through. Like I say, we're going to Inverness on Sunday.
And is that
podcast?
A podcast?
That is a podcast. We are going on the road.
Is that a HubSpoke one or a customer one?
No, this is a customer one.
Wow, all the way to Inverness.
Yes.
HubSpoke on the road.
It all will be revealed.
All right,
providing it goes ahead, obviously. It is planned, it is booked, but you never know.
One of the things that I find interesting is that you're saying that you're meeting people through the podcast. Obviously, I know this room, I know you, I know HubSpoke. What's interesting for me is I'm swiping through LinkedIn and I see something like, what's the great podcast with Paul Million, the brick thing?
Yeah, so there's Back to Brick, which is David.
That's the one.
And now we're having podcast hosts crossing over.
Yes.
So we had a crossover of Back to Brick and Loaf, which is Paul Million.
That's right. But the one with Paul Million, I watched a quick reel from. Excuse you. I watched a quick reel from their podcast, and obviously I recognise the studio, so it's great. So there's me looking in to the studio that I'm normally sat looking out. Yeah. So it's really, honestly, mate, it's great.
We even had. I'm careful with politics because people get very heated. There's no angle.
No,
here.
we don't.
But we also had Peter Gibson.
Yes, of course.
Using the room, and that just came in through an inquiry. Obviously, he lost the election, but I'd like not to think it wasn't because of the podcast.
No.
But yeah, Ben Houchen came in.
Yeah.
You know, so it's really good to see people using it for what they need, and we're just providing the technicals behind the scenes
and the platform for everybody to get onto.
Yeah,
as Jo said when she was doing her marketing, it's great. She went, what you've got to do is feel like marketing is helping your customer. You're putting them on a vehicle. And you're taking them through that journey, but the social media is the vehicle. You can have different engines. It could be Facebook. It could be LinkedIn. It could be literally live events, a podcast. But that's what she was saying, and you're doing the same.
Speaking of vehicles,
wow,
there is a vehicle launching on TV on the 24th of July. 2 vehicles, in fact.
2 vehicles.
So we've shot the Darlington College advert. I've been talking about it
you
throughout
have.
the process. Very open. Thank you to the college for letting me talk about it. Yeah, so that is all lodged with Clearcast.
Wow.
Right, here's a great story for you.
Let's go.
This is the reason why I came onto the podcasting and all that is because of the excitement in business and the different things that you can do. So you've had that amazing experience this week.
Absolutely.
A couple of weeks ago, I found myself at the top of the Dolphin Centre top diving board.
I was going to say on top of the roof.
No,
what are you doing up there for?
With a GoPro in my mouth.
Oh, my goodness
Because it was like, we need to get the shot of... the student, in inverted commas, jumping off the diving board. Now, the student filmed all the stuff in the college. All the students were great. We did a mouth mount GoPro, so it looked like first-person perspective. But then I didn't fancy...
boom arm out the front, did it?
Yeah. No, just literally like a snorkel bite thing.
Right.
And the GoPro is in front of essentially your nose. So it looks like a first-person perspective.
Looking outwards.
Yes.
Not looking in.
Not
That'd
looking back
be weird. Here's a picture of a nose.
So we filmed all this, but I was like... Part of the students get access to the Dolphin Centre.
Yeah, okay.
So I wanted to incorporate that into the video. So I found myself a few weeks ago, top diving board. It's quite high, for those who haven't seen it. Stood there going, I haven't jumped off this for years. What the hell am I doing? I wasn't prepared to go make the student do it or anything like that. I did offer Lena the chance to do it, but she didn't fancy it. So in the video, there is a clip where the student, aka me in this case, was jumping off the diving board. But
did you jump?
Yeah.
Wow.
I did it. We edited it, and it's like the fastest thing in the world.
I'm not surprised.
But it's like the places where business takes you. And obviously, this was my silly idea of throwing myself off the diving board, but it looks great in the advert.
You sure it wasn't Alina's and Jess's idea?
Well, I certainly didn't volunteer to help out on that shot.
No. You can do it,
Full
Adam.
circle.
Yes.
So Alina, who's behind cameras today, has finished her apprenticeship over 6 months ago now. Yeah. Amazing work. Incredible. We're so proud of her. Obviously, he's now working full-time
Yeah, yeah.
employment. However, it was 2 years ago in early June, Alina started her placement.
Wow.
Apprenticeship placement. Within 2 years, she has then gone from apprentice to actually editing the latest TV advert for Darlington College.
That is a massive achievement. I would say from editor to legend.
Yeah, exactly. So we thought it's nice full circle.
Really,
thing
really
to
nice.
go right. So yes, I shot it. I filmed it all. I said to Alina, "How do you feel about having the pressure of producing an ad for TV on it?" So
All
big
credit.
congratulations to Alina because she's done an absolutely superb job.
Insert any applause, loud
Yeah.
cheering you want, just right there.
Like that. So yeah, so that was my sort of journey.
That's a real nice
on
thing.
the side.
Yeah.
And I'm really proud of Alina. And the advert is out. The college have shared it on YouTube. I will show you later on.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're really
Fabulous.
excited. So that is going out 24th of July
Oh my
alongside the
goodness
adult
me.
learning campaign we shot last year as well.
Oh my goodness me.
rerun, so
You
all
are a
busy.
busy chap.
It has been a bit challenging the last few months.
I can imagine, mate, which is why, bless you, you were away for the last 2 weeks podcast, but I carried it. I carried
You
it.
did. You carried it. Right, but
you are back.
But I am back.
And had coffee.
and I've got some technology with me.
Oh, no,
What's
you've
this
not.
in my hand?
That's an iPad.
It is. So I've got some technology with me.
Yeah,
but
that's technology.
I've got some more technology with me. There's a chair to your left.
Correct.
Pull out the chair to your left. I've got one as well.
Oh my goodness
Here you
me.
go, sir.
Oh my goodness
Right.
me.
For those listening. Oops. I knew you were going to pull that off. For those listening, what have you just pulled up onto your chair and what have I pulled up onto my chair?
I have pulled a very old looking typewriter. However, it doesn't look as old as your typewriter.
Yeah, this. So basically,
Goodness me.
I have issues.
A lot of them. We know
So
that.
first of all, anyone that's listening today, yes, I have just purchased typewriters. I meant to get 2.
That one's 1.5.
Well, I have got 2. However, I accidentally bought a third, and that's at home.
All right, okay.
I don't know how I bought the third one.
Oh, I can smell the
You
oil.
can smell it. Right, so I have become... I shot film in New Zealand, yes?
You did
When
indeed.
I was on my holiday, I shot film, and I absolutely loved the experience. Get the results back. Thought they were great. And then I was like... We do so much on technology. It's kind of like absolute backwards. Why I'd be like, let's look at typewriters. But I was like, I'm interested. Plus, I'm interested. I like cycling. Not doing as much at the moment as I should be, but like I learned all the maintenance on my bikes and this. So there's like a mechanical interest.
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
And I was like, do you know what? So this typewriter here is actually being sat on that shelf this week
I've never
behind
noticed.
you. No,
it's
it's
new.
only- yeah,
I was
so
going to
it's
say,
new.
I've never noticed
Yeah,
it.
so I got it to actually, because we've got film cameras and things like that around the set, and I was like, a typewriter is great. And I'll be honest,
Unbelievable.
Jess thinks I'm mad.
Well, Alina thinks you're mad. I think you're mad.
So I was like, I've got nothing to lose.
No, exactly.
So basically, I thought, right, I'm going to look at this. So I went on trusty eBay.
Yep.
Watch this. There's a little thing here. Ooh.
Oh, my
Right,
goodness
went on
me.
trusty eBay and looked up typewriters, and I found this. This is a Remington compact portable. So the difference is with this one, the typing heads actually drop down. See how it can like go flat, and then you can put it in. That one you've got there comes with a case. That is like a eggshell blue
Yeah.
typewriter thing. But I was just interested because this, my mum always talks about when she first went into the world of work, there was typing pools,
Yes, there was.
rooms full of people
Yeah.
working on these.
Yep.
I did have someone from ModeShift the other week go to me, why 2? And I was like, well, it's the equivalent of having 2 screens on your computer.
Yay!
But it isn't.
But it's not.
So I got this typewriter in particular, and we're going to go through the history of typewriter, but I just want to tell you a little story first. So
Once upon a time.
I got my little typewriter, this one here, the Remington, this came, and I was like messing around with it, and it,
I love that sound.
yeah, how good is that, okay? I've just put all that on the roller, but never mind. Yep, so you've got that, and then
Where's the bell?
bing, it did. It's a bit quiet, that one. Try this one. So pull that lever forward here. Oh, keep going. Ding, yeah. That probably sounds horrific on the microphone. Ooh, that's one key at a time, Mr. Reed.
I'm sorry. Look at
Right,
that.
so I got this typewriter, this Remington one in front of me. This came through first, right? And I was like looking at it going, oh, I'm so happy. I'm so happy with it. I'm delighted with it, right? I was like, I'm really happy with it.
That's fabulous.
There's a couple of things I'm going to talk about. But if you look on the number 4 key, what symbol is above the number 4? On
the at.
The
which
at
is
symbol.
Completely wrong.
Well.
On a keyboard, it's on the number 2.
Right, okay.
No, it's not. It's on the number 3.
I love it. But my point was, I got this one through first, this black one, this Remington compact thing. And I was looking at it, it's 1930s. I was like messing around, I was testing the symbols and stuff. And then I was like, the at symbol. I was like, I think I've been ripped off. I think, is this a fake? I got worried it was a fake, right? And I was like, why the hell would there be an at symbol on a typewriter?
Yeah.
Right? This is where learning happens.
It's called education.
Yeah, so it turns, because the at symbol, what do we use it for?
Emails.
Emails, handles.
Handles, everything.
So the at symbol's always been on the keyboard. It was just never used for anything. It always meant like at. So it had been used previously. I've looked this up. It had been used previously as like an abbreviation for at.
As in, I was at.
Yeah, like it could be at a plate. So it's kind of already used, but it only actually started, but it was so infrequently used. It was like the duff symbol on the keyboard. So when they were coming up with email and sending stuff, they're like, what do we do? And it was like, perfect.
Nobody ever used the at symbol.
I genuinely thought the at symbol was a development on
email and things like that.
Like came around at the time.
HubSpoke Media.
Absolutely not. That symbol has been there for years and years. So I immediately hit Google and I was like looking at other keyboard typewriters and things. And I was like, no, it's there. So I was like, why is there an at symbol there?
Yes.
So I went down that rabbit hole.
And an hour later.
Yeah. So I learned that interesting fact.
Why did it move from 4 to 2?
I have no idea. I think it depends because Apple do their own thing and Windows, well, they've always done their own thing, quite frankly. So I thought we'd go into the history of the typewriter today. So
That's incredible.
What do you? I mean, I don't know. There's something I like about them. So the shift key. Press your shift key, which doesn't have a symbol. Right, what is it doing?
It's lifting up the whole bars at the back and the roller. That's incredible.
Yeah. So that actually stands for shift carriage. Well, so we say shift every day. Yeah?
Yeah.
The other button that you've got on mine, it's called shift lock. So do you know if you want caps lock? There you go. So now you're writing.
But that's mechanical. I can see what that did.
Yeah.
That's so clever.
So it's interesting. The other thing that we do is if you look to the right of the keyboard, what's normally in this hole here?
The return key.
Yes, there is. Right. But instead, you've got this handy little lever here. So let's say you get to the end of your ping.
That's a beautiful ping.
The end of your carriage.
There's no carriage return.
There isn't. So what you do is you push this lever. So if it did two things there. So as you push the lever, watch this, the mechanics. It rolls the paper up.
Yeah, because a little cog there gets engaged and it rolls the paper up.
And you define how far you want it to roll up, and then you slide.
Funnily enough, that's what that's for, because I remember doing this where you only wanted one line, or I wanted no lines, or 2 lines, or 1. Oh, that's really clever. Right. It takes me back, this, mate.
Yeah, so this lever on the top that you see people push along in the movies and all that, that is your return key. Yeah. Carriage return. So that is why return is called return. It then got called enter as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you would enter a record.
Yeah.
But backspace is on there, although yours is an arrow, but they still called it backspace. So it's amazing to see that whilst typewriters might be viewed as old, how much the keyboard actually hasn't changed. Also, the keyboard layout is entirely the same as well. Yeah. So, right, history of the typewriter. Are you ready, sir?
I am ready, sir.
You're enjoying that?
It's really good. Honestly, I'm impressed.
Yeah, so what's amazing about these is, this is 1930, so it's 90 years old. It still works great.
Yeah.
Oh, the last thing before I go into history, see this ribbon here?
Yes, black on the top, red at the bottom.
Yeah, so if you want to change colour, so you got a lever here.
Absolutely. And what it does, it
adjusts where the ribbon lies, so when you're then typing, it then can punch out.
So this one there, as I lift it, you'll notice, well, you can't see this, but actually it's raising it higher, so as that hits it, it strikes red, but if I pull it down, it strikes black. And the middle one just means that it'll always do what it's going to do.
So these are a mechanical marvel, I think.
They are unbelievable. The amount of cogs, the amount of small wires, like the shift key was doing there. Like when I was changing this, I can see a little lever going backwards and forwards, which raises and lowers the ink reel. As you said, the carriage return goes all the way back. My backspace, I can see that it's actually pulling a lever. Oh, honestly, mate, this is incredible.
So
the
reason why I went for it is I'm just completely fascinated by A, the mechanics of it, B, like these were everywhere because this was the computer, and then C, just like the intricacies of the mechanics. Like there's a little lever there, look, that winds the ribbon on. So say your ribbon doesn't have the ink on, but then what you can do is you push that way, you push the same lever in, and it actually unwinds it the other way. You pull it the other way, unwinds it the other way, and I've just got
amazing ingenuity.
Yeah, and I just think
I've not got that functionality.
I just think we're a little
That's
bit
really good.
at risk of losing that sort of thing in the digital world because actually it's real physical mechanics and there's just something quite nice about it. So, history of the typewriter. Right.
Wow, that was interesting.
Exactly. Right, so what date would you imagine that these started sort of appearing?
1850s.
Yeah, well, 1714.
Oh my goodness.
Henry Mill obtained the patent for a machine that, from the patent, appears to be similar to the typewriter. So some of the typewriters that originally existed at first, there was a couple of different options. There was some with, there's a movie called Arthur Christmas, fantastic movie, but they've got this machine that use in the movie to talk to the reindeer's sleigh.
Right.
And it's like a ball with like keys on top. Actually, one of the first sort of typewriters or models of typewriters were like that. So you basically had a key on a rod, and when you pushed the key, it pushed the rod into the paper.
Yes.
So very sort of linear.
Yes.
Sort of not as neat and well presented as this. But yeah, 1714. It was 1575. Italian printmaker Francesco Rampazzetto invented the scrittura tattile machine that impressed letters into paper. 1500s.
Goodness me.
1802. Agostino Fantoni developed a particular typewriter to enable his blind sister to write.
Oh,
So immediately using technology to solve problems. I love that.
that is amazing.
Challenges in that case. 1801, 1808. Italian Pellegrino Turi invented typewriter for his blind countess Carolina Fantoni. So she was a countess.
That's incredible stuff.
And then 1823, a new model came out. And then 1829, William Austin Burt, American, created a machine called the typographer, which in common with early machines listed the first typewriter. So that's kind of defined as the first typewriter, basically. So obviously it was something that only people had access to at elite level at first. I'm not surprised with the mechanics and this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
But I just think, for me, we're at the forefront of emerging technologies right now, and I think it's easy to forget that.
I think it is.
We've seen the adoption of the internet, me and
Oh
you.
gosh, yeah, definitely.
Alina has always had. You've always had the internet, Alina, correct? Kind of. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So like, me and you
Dial up.
landlines.
Oh, good, yes.
So when you said you'd go and meet your friend in town at 11 o'clock,
Yeah.
you'd go and stand where you met at 11 o'clock, and
If they were
wouldn't
late,
appear.
you would just wait.
Wouldn't appear. You'd stand there.
Yeah.
Eventually, you might have to give up.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was kind of one of those, which I thought was quite interesting.
Definitely.
But I think that my point is, in the modern day, I think we just kind of accept all the apps and things in pockets. I was trialing an app that does AI video. So what it does is it creates a script, narrates it with an AI voice, and then pulls stock video from all stock sites, and it does it in about 4 minutes.
Is the AI voice, hi, my name is...
No, it sounds like David Attenborough, one of them.
Oh, my goodness me.
But it's so readily available to us.
It is, yeah.
And I think it's important. My thinking is I think it's good to think about things like this because we can see how things like this changed.
And developed, yeah, absolutely.
And developed, and then also how it impacts society and the world.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, obviously, I'm not saying we go back to typewriters.
I'm not carrying this in my pocket.
However, I have written some letters to people on my typewriter. Charles Thurber developed multiple patents, which in 1843 was created as an aid to blind people. So again, there is that theme to support people with sight issues accessing things, like in terms of being able to write. And I never thought, like, part of the driver of the typewriter, and if you think about, this is the early computer.
Yes, definitely.
Right? But immediately the theme starts developing that this technology was being used to solve a problem and help somebody.
Yeah, as I say, and we lose that, don't we? Because we just accept it, take it for granted, whereas actually somebody took this idea and went, well, this will help somebody who's partially sighted.
Yeah.
Incredible.
And they probably never thought that A would be using computers, so it was big at scale.
Yeah.
Like we do now. And I don't think they would have thought, everyone will be doing this. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's fascinating that is one of the key things. In 1855, Giuseppe Ravizza created a prototype typewriter called the Sembello, Scrivano a Machina did. Okay, that's long. With writing keys, it was advanced because it let the user see what was being written as it was typed. So it's amazing to see, like, over 60 years. 1864, a carpenter developed a series of models and functioning prototype typewriters. So it took 60 years really for it to really start to take. But in the early days, people were using it to help support people who had blindness issues, basically. And obviously, I'm sure they could. I mean, I don't know how they did the typing in terms of, did they have to memorize, or was like
touch typists? They would know.
Was did they just learn where the position was and work off there? And then by 1900, notable typewriters like Remington, which is what I've got right here, started spinning up. So I have some photographs of various typewriters here, but we've got some in front of us, so you know what that is. A significant innovation was the shift key, introduced with Remington in 1878. So the shift key that we use every day on our computers was created in 1878.
Yes.
Described as basket shift, or the
basket shift.
Basket shift, because they called it a basket where the paper was. The result that each type bar could have two different characters. So this is when you start to see two different symbols emerge on the key heads of a typewriter. If no one's ever seen a typewriter before, you'll have. I know Jess was looking at it, like you've got lowercase on the bottom half and then capital on the top. And when you hold shift, it manoeuvres the reel so you hit the top one or the bottom one, basically.
But again, the mechanics in order that they've had to have learned that, you know, as the key has been struck, that it'll hit the bottom first, whereas if it's a slightly different angle, it'll hit the top first and not hit the bottom. That's, again, amazing stuff.
100%.
But that would explain why the roll is cylindrical.
Yep, because then you're hitting the apex.
Well, there you go. Yeah, I'll go with that.
So the first commercial typewriters were introduced in 1874, but did not come into the offices until the mid-1880s.
Goodness
so it started, so we're talking 80 years.
Yeah.
So if you look at the creation of mobile phone, we look at mobile phones from the 90s
we do,
to now, technically, if we were on that same rate, we wouldn't still have mobile phones yet,
would not.
based on typewriters existing and then coming around. So I thought that was interesting to see. And then obviously it became an indispensable tool that people then started using in offices. We're watching, it's like a spy program at the moment. It's called The Game. And it's set in 1970. It's on BBC iPlayer. Highly recommend. It's really good. But they've got I'm loving it because I've done this recent. Yeah, there's typewriters everywhere. And it's weird. Like, you're looking at the workspaces going, there's not a computer in sight.
No.
They've got landline phones. So they're having to do spy stuff, but like run to a phone box and go, hello. And then hope the person's at the desk at the other end.
Yes, absolutely.
But yeah, it's like interesting seeing all of that workspace and how it was. And then, when do you think? So the keyboard layout we know and love today is called the QWERTY.
QWERTY you up.
Yeah. So just QWERTY.
I like QWERTY you up.
Do you like QWERTY you up? If you don't know what that is, that's just from Q to Y on the keyboard, and they call it
QWERTY you up.
when do you think that emerged? Because actually, we just sort of accept it again. The keyboard layout.
So you're telling me that in the very early prototypes of when the typewriter or the whatever that called, it wasn't a QWERTY keyboard?
Yes, there was all sorts of different.
There was all sorts of different things.
People were trying different things. They were looking at optimization of hand positioning, in terms of how you can quickly cover the keyboard,
Right.
and how you can then.
Well,
type
I'm
things
fascinated then. So 2 questions each. I know you're going to answer them. What date did QWERTY become? What date was it incorporated, and why was it the default standard?
So developed in 1870. So that's what I mean.
Again,
Like, we use this every day.
yeah.
Every device for English language, anyway, English characters is QWERTY. 1870, that was established.
That's
Now, you could go, and I know there's been people over the years that have tried to then question whether we should be doing it a different way.
different way, yeah.
And I think they've there was things where I've seen, like, QWERTY isn't necessarily the most efficient,
No.
but people find it the most easy to manage, and it's because of the layout. So the origins of layout still need to be clarified, apparently, in the research that I've done, but similar typewriters with layouts in another language emerged soon after, but they based it off the QWERTY kind of standard. QWERTY layout is not the most efficient for the English language. Touch typists are required to move their fingers between rows and common letters. Although QWERTY keyboards most commonly used, a better, less strenuous keyboard was being searched for throughout the late 1900s. So,
But we haven't got one
but
yet.
the problem is once you've got a model of keyboard and you learn to write on that,
You can't change.
it's like, how do you?
No,
yeah.
you can't.
So
you can't.
because you don't look at your screen, your hands when you're typing.
No, I'm a touch
Neither do I,
typist.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I'll be honest, doing typewriter, I have to then because the gaps are so much bigger. There's like, the keys are across steps.
Yeah.
So
I have to slightly adjust when I move from a proper full-size keyboard to my laptop.
yes,
The first couple of times, I'm like, whoa, readjust.
sausage fingers.
That's what Paul
So-
says all the time.
yeah, it always is the case. But like in terms of trying to do that, but so in terms of layout, I think you very quickly emerged into a problem of going, right, this, whilst it's not the most efficient, it works, which goes to show. But then it also goes to show that the most efficient layout, in air quotes, is still going in 2024.
After 18 something or another.
Yeah.
How did the people invent it get it around the world? Did they send letters?
Yeah, you need this.
You need this to be
so
sorted.
obviously it went across with business, and people obviously took them with them. And I think,
Incredible.
if you think about the challenges that it solved, like my handwriting is not the best. I try, to make it neat and tidy, and I make sure I spell things properly. Yeah, look at that. You're finding little mechanical
Look, there's
trinkets.
the A4 paper holder. I was thinking, oh no, hang on, I'll just push
It's
it.
like, yeah, no, that's what I love about these. You just like prod and poke a lever and something goes,
Yeah,
you do this.
absolutely.
You've also got ruler measures here so you can define your margins on the page.
Yeah, exactly.
So
So,
it
when you're
physically
doing
stops
small
the
pieces
carriage.
of paper or envelopes normally,
Yep.
I remember sliding in envelopes when I was very first when these were around, sliding in an envelope and then typing the address, and then you'd open it up and type the actual letter.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Honestly.
Yeah, obviously this business spearheaded the way for the typewriter. I think the change that was seen across
Incredible.
the world. So but what sort of challenges did this solve then? So with the blindness, I didn't anticipate that.
I did not even think that.
I did not think that actually. Oh yeah, that makes loads of sense.
So if there were, again, I know you've done your research here, my friend, but were the keys raised so they knew what they were typing?
That's the thing I'm not sure about. I couldn't find
okay.
any information on there. So whether they memorized the QWERTY layout and
Yeah.
essentially became touch typist, and
Yeah.
had to obviously have help and support to do that.
I suppose if you think about it now, when I'm a touch typist, I know where the keys are. So I suppose you could, in essence, if you're that clever, yeah, I know what I'm typing.
Yeah,
Close your
so you
eyes
could
and say,
learn it.
yeah, definitely, I know what I'm typing.
Yeah, so really interesting to see that was the
gosh.
thing. But then obviously it took off, and then I think what it allowed people to do is it removed the issue of, have you ever tried to read historical correspondence and
gosh,
like
yes.
there's a reference library, fantastic library in town, and when I was doing some of the work in there, they had some of the articles.
Right.
that were written, and like the signing of the place in the ground. I can't read any of it. It's
No.
you really need to know how to read sort of the calligraphy style
Of course you do.
writing, because it's hard.
Yeah.
So I think one thing that it did for society is it normalised writing patterns in terms of it made it more accessible for more people to read and access. Obviously, a level of formality, because the printing press was already out there.
Yeah.
And if you look at it, basically, I don't know whether you've seen the printer presses back in the day, they basically used to have, a big plate
Yes.
with holes in, and they would put the key characters
Correct.
in. Yeah, so they'd lie them in. They would then roll ink on, pop your broadsheet for the newspaper, pop your broadsheet on it, then press it, and then lift it up, and then do the next one.
Yeah,
But
but it was painstaking because the guy literally, or the
Yeah.
person literally had to write everyone like space, space,
yeah, so that's
am,
put in
space.
the blocks. It
the
was like
blocks.
Lego in
It
a
was
sense.
literally like Lego.
Yeah.
Man.
So then, if you look at what they've done there,
Yeah.
it kind of makes sense, because they've made the keys miniaturized in terms of the press. So basically,
Yeah.
you would have had these. So it's almost like microcomputing the printing press.
Definitely, man. It's incredible. A couple of questions that are immediately emerging is that when I'm looking at the top row, I see some characters. So for those, again, if you look at your keyboard, when I do a shift, I'm going to get a open bracket.
Yep.
And I'm going to get a close bracket, a plus, and equals. Some of these have changed.
Yes.
So, the as I said before, the @ symbol, nowadays, the hash. So I can't see a hash on here.
I can't see a
That was originally the number 3. Sorry, it is now a number 3. The number 1 has a star on this one.
Yeah, well, look on this keyboard.
You don't have a number 1.
I don't.
Why?
So what you do is they've cleverly made the L
Yeah.
look like a 1. So they're like, we don't need a number 1 because you've already got L. So where's L? So if you look at the lowercase l, it's got the, do you know, like with the one where it's like the bottom line up and then down? That's how they made the L there. So your L is your number 1.
One less key to program.
Yep, program.
You see.
There is also, have you noticed, quarter, 3/4.
Well, absolutely.
I've got 1/8.
A half,
3/8,
a third,
yeah.
3/4, 1/4.
Why
I
do
was
you
going to
think
ask
that
about that.
Old money.
I was about to say old
Yeah,
money.
old money.
I've got a funny .d.
Oh, yeah, I've got a .d. I haven't noticed
What's
that.
a .d?
I don't know. Shall I Google that while we're sat here? Have a look at it on the head. Is it a .d on there?
No, it just looks like a dot, mate. That just looks like a dot.
Interesting. .d.
On typewriter. That's very interesting.
Yeah. So,
But yeah, there's a lot of things
typewriter-
that are different. I can see that some keys have remained in their position, but some keys have definitely moved. As I said, no exclamation mark. We don't, obviously, again, it sounds obvious, but we don't have the euro sign because that wasn't invented or came into thing later on. But yeah, incredible how it changed. What I was also feeling is that somewhere along the line, the keyboard key layout, the slight dip in them because it's perfect for the pad of your fingertips. That obviously came along somewhere. I mean, oddly enough, that feels satisfying. When I'm resting my hand on the keys, it's almost perfect for my pads and my fingertips.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
again, that's lovely.
And they're nicely designed. This one, I mean, some of them.
That one, again, for the people, that's more of a circular, with an indent.
Yeah.
It would feel less natural to me nowadays.
This one's a bit more Harry Potter. That's more 70s workplace.
But yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you think about those films that you're talking about where you see the pool of typewriter people, I mean, they are flashing through paper.
Yeah.
I mean,
So I've done a letter actually recently thanking a client for the work. And I thought, I'm going to do it on the typewriter. It's a personal approach.
Yeah.
And I want to do that.
Yeah.
And not because I'm daft or anything like that. I just thought it's worth my time to
do it.
support, to say thank you. So I did that. Do you know how many times it took me to do it? The typewriter that I ended up with at home it's a West German.
Ooh.
That's showing age, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
So West German, it actually writes lovely. So obviously, as they've developed it, they've worked out, because there is a bite point
Yes.
on these where you suddenly the hammer, you got to press them quite hard. Whereas this one at home is a lot softer
Right.
to the touch. But trying to get right and not make a mistake.
Oh, gosh.
So then Tipex came about.
They did. You rolled it up, your Tipex, but then the downside is you had to roll it exactly in line again. Otherwise, you go, oh, I'm out.
So I had to work out how to do this. So the Tipex I've got at home, because it came with some Tipex sheets, probably from God knows when.
Yeah.
You slide the sheet in.
Yeah.
So say you type a letter D. What you have to then do is
Backspace.
go back one.
Yeah. That's what this key is.
Yeah.
Go
Go
back one.
back one, and you go, the D was wrong. And then you slide the Tipex little white thing in,
Press
and then
D
you
again.
press D again,
Yeah.
and it stamps the Tipex over the letter.
Yeah.
I was like, that's pretty clever.
Wait a while for it to dry.
Yeah,
and then
just write.
And then write again.
And it works really well, actually.
Yeah.
But I can honestly say, I've got absolute full respect and credit to the people that used to work on these typing pulls, because having tried to write one formal letter, which, I don't know, 200 words tops, it took me 3 goes.
Yeah.
And even then I had to slow down,
Yeah. And it was literally
type
like,
slow.
I. Whoa.
And it's like, and then you press the button, you're like, whoa, I forgot to press space.
Yeah.
Hang on. Space.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
But I just love
and
that
that's
sound.
with me working on computers.
See, it's not working
Absolute
for me.
gibberish and full of typos there.
Yeah, no, honestly, it was. I was trying to say I would like to thank you, but no.
That's like the speed typists would be typing.
Oh, no, but they fly through it. No, you see.
I think the other thing is in the typing pulls, how, they'd be like, here's like hand notes or whatever.
Yes, of course.
Type them up. I mean, imagine trying to type at speed and read people's writing, and they were getting held account on their typing speeds.
Yeah,
I'll just
absolutely.
find how many words a minute they're going to do.
Yeah.
Because it was.
And I've seen
crazy.
some movies where they've got the old-fashioned white earphones in, and they're listening
Yes.
to the person that's obviously spoken to it on a dictaphone as we knew it then, but literally like, right, Adam, take a letter. I would like yours sincerely, and again, picking up that person's dialect, trying to work out what they wanted.
65 to 75 words a minute.
Goodness me.
I think it would take. I think I'm at like 20, if that, 15 maybe.
I think, again, what you've got to consider, Adam, is that if you think about when you type the letter A on your keyboard, it is the minute that it touches that contact, it's instant. This, I've got to hit it, I've got to wait for a mechanical arm to strike it, then to come back down. It's no wonder it's just like A, B, whereas you're going A.
Whereas the typists, I think they're probably typing close to the speed that I'll probably type out on the computer.
No,
And it's so
absolutely.
much more mechanical.
Yes.
Obviously, the distance travel, like you say, with a keyboard, you just do it. And there's no spell check.
No spell check. It's all done by yourself. And again, don't forget that every time they went for a new line, they've got to do that to go on, and then obviously it would go to the end of the page. So there was a lot of manual,
Physical work.
Physical work is what
yeah.
I'm getting at. But that's incredible. And again, the reels, how long would they last?
Do you know what? I don't know, but I have been messing around with them, going like, if I use a bit and then I wind it back, can I still use it? And the answer is yeah. So I think you probably used it until you were happy to do it. I've got some spare reels as well. But even there, like, you got to then take them off. You go, I've run out of ink, take it off.
Replace it.
And I mean, look, I bet in the early days it was fine, but I bet in the more modern era of the typewriter, it's fine. Because I've got these reels, I've got that size.
Right.
For this size, you have to rethread the thing on.
Yes.
So I'm like, that's what they probably would have done. They wouldn't have just replaced these. These come with a machine.
Yeah.
You need to then roll on a new ribbon or re-soak the ribbon. But obviously there's red and black, so God knows.
No. I think I remember having to purchase some of these for when I worked in the very early days of the thing. Before the computers came along, we had to purchase these, and you would have them. And I think even the modern typewriters, they came in a black case.
Yep.
So you just literally slotted it in and it like hid the reels, if you know what I mean. But again, the amount of times it's jammed, whereas a couple of keys have gone together, and you'd have to slowly, logically go, right, which one?
Untangle the keys.
Untangle the keys. When the ribbon actually got wound up accidentally around the base, the paper got jammed, because something had fallen in, like an old style paper clip or something like that had fallen in. And again, if you look at the back of this, Adam, there's actually
I know, I've noticed that.
There's a metal wire that's actually running it backwards and forwards on the roller.
In fairness, you've got no Windows updates coming.
Don't talk about Windows updates. Have you heard the IT crash out today?
No.
Half of Australia's banks and airports are down to a Microsoft patch that's causing outage.
Really?
Yeah, it's huge. It's breaking news.
Typewriter won't have that issue.
The typewriter wouldn't have that issue. It's still going, I think.
Really?
Breaking news. I'm reading this directly from the website. Planes grounded as mass worldwide IT outage hits airlines, media, and banks. The cause is unknown, but it's basically, they reckon it's down to a global Microsoft operating system outage that is hampering terminal operations. That's the Baltic hub in Poland, and they basically not able to send containers to the port. The hub began operating in 2007, has the capacity to handle up to 2.9 million containers annually. They have ground to halt. So it's affecting American airlines have gone down, Poland going down, GPs, NHS GP systems have gone down, CrowdStrike as a possible cause, cybersecurity. Do we have a cybersecurity event?
Yes, we do next week.
Interestingly, outage hits airport and parliament in New Zealand. Sky News is offline.
Is it?
Yeah, I mean, this is incredible, mate. In the UK, guilds are unable to take in-store payments. Airports in Japan and India, Alaska, Stansted, Amsterdam. This is incredible, mate. All caused by an IT outage.
I'd hate to be on the other end of that, trying to fix it.
Is there some guy at the back called Bob going, yep, hang on, I'm nearly there?
Yeah, I'm nearly there. 15 words a minute.
But yeah, the only thing you had about this was I ran out of ink, it got jammed, there's paper
Well, look at the mechanics on it. Like, I don't know, I've just got an appreciation for this is when things were being produced en masse.
Yes.
And let's not pretend this is the only one. There have been loads of these made, and the mechanics on it just they
but
stand
if you
the
look
test
at
of
each
time.
one of these that actually call, so when I'm pressing this, for people that it's effectively a single hook. Yep.
Yeah.
And as I press down, the mechanic of pulling that forces that lever, which is on a spring or
so you've
weight.
got springs under there.
Yeah,
that
that's
pull
it. There
back
you
down.
go. There we go. So the act of me doing that, one person, I'm assuming, I can't work out whether this was automized, but one person is literally hooking every one. This bar here is lifting up. Every single thing is a mechanical metal lever that's pulling, pushing, springing back down. The shift is another mechanical lever that's on a pendulum of some kind when I'm pushing it. Who invented the fact that it would scroll all the way as I'm pushing that? It's up right in the roller, releasing the gear.
It's doing like two jobs
before I then pull it back down again. Incredible.
So, my mother, hello mother.
Hi, Jill.
We were talking about typewriters, and she said some countries are still using typewriters because of cyber attacks.
Do you know what? Nobody can hack a typewriter.
Exactly.
I'll just
sneak in and
sneak
change
in,
the keys.
Change in, and as it hits that, it hits each individual. No.
But I thought I'd better validate what she's saying.
Ah, right, okay.
However, I did find an article on The Independent. The country where officials are using pen, paper, and typewriters to govern after major cyber attack.
Ah, right, okay.
So this was a Polynesian country of Vanuatu, switched to typewriter, pen and paper, and yellow pages to run their newly elected government a month after its parliament and public sector websites were knocked out by a cyber attack. Could you imagine coming to work and going, right, we've got to do this the old way? And it was a malware attack that went for servers, emails, other online systems, disrupted communication. I mean, it's as soon as you end up online, that's where
and that's the problem. Unfortunately, that's the problem. And as I say,
the websites of the Parliament, Police, Prime Minister's Office were disabled. This was 2022, this article. And the email system, hospital emergency services, databases and all sorts of I mean, it's horrific, the scale. So they moved to typewriter, pen and paper.
Yeah. Incredible,
Basically
isn't it?
went back to the 70s in the UK.
Go back to your original point, my friend, about the dependency we have, and we've just recently seen there the news in terms of it's a full outage everywhere over the world that's affecting every country by the sound of it. There are, if you like, advantages, disadvantages. Being online in the world is like massively advantage. Look at you, you're scrolling now, reading Google, having information at your fingertips, whereas previously, you would have had to go into the library to do research, to look up things, things like that. So there is a great, great advantage. The downside is it sometimes feels to me as like we are so fragile because now people are American Airlines, no flights. There are, imagine the repercussions of that. Adam can't get on the plane to go see a customer to gain, to win a potential.
To get a suntan. To do their work.
To do their work, to get a deal. Will the ramifications of that being that company didn't win that deal, which means they'll go into redundancy? I'm obviously painting a black picture, but absolutely incredible.
So there is a Reddit that I'm just
good old Reddit.
There is another one, July 2014. Germany may revert to typewriters to counter high-tech espionage. So there is a lot of talk around sort of, the security services.
Yeah, definitely.
Of potentially using them. The next step of this, obviously, and I think we had one of these. It was a digital typewriter.
Yes.
So you type it all out and it types it. Obviously, it's a keyboard. You're not swinging a hammer around with the keys on, but what it does is put it on screen, then you go, okay, done, and then a spell checker, and then it would print it.
Yeah.
That was the next step.
I remember that, and then I remember the very first computer word processor called WordStar.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And highlight block, Control KK, highlight end of block, Control KB. Because block K, you start it, and then honestly, incredible in terms of how somebody came up with all of these shortcuts. And that was the whole start of these things. But WordStar was an incredible program, but you had to be a scientist to understand it.
That's part of the problem.
Oh, it was incredibly difficult.
With a typewriter, you don't need to be, and I think this was the problem computers had. People readily say. I had someone the other day going, "I don't understand Instagram, or TikTok, or whatever." Or is TikTok really that bad? Was the question I had, because TikTok's been in the press by governments banning TikTok.
Correct. China and things like that.
Concerned, and what it is, it's not that TikTok is necessarily up to any
nefarious.
Nefarious. And they've actually been in hearings in America. The concern is that their data may be harvested by people. I think we'll just leave it there. I think, but the concern is their data is
the downside again, Adam, and again, going slightly dark, is that we've got let's say a customer, and they were asking us to set up an Instagram account so they could showcase some of their young children's antics in terms of stuff. And again, the whole debate they had with the directors, like, should we be publishing images of young children on the internet? And that's an awful thing to have to think about. Yeah. But they were like, should we? Parents consent.
There's a lot around consent.
And that's the biggest thing.
It's the child's consent. Because what if when the child grows up, what if they say, actually, I don't consent to it?
Correct. Honestly, it's interesting. Very interesting stuff. But this is fascinating stuff, mate. And again, I think I remember the you had to get a little. Remember the small cans of typewriter oil? Mm-hmm. You had to gently oil everything.
Yeah.
Not let it flood all over.
Not let it go through, because they're effectively hollow.
Yes, they are.
In terms of, you can see all the gubbins, which means you'll just apply
yours
oil.
Is hollow. Mine's got a base on the bottom.
There we
tin
go.
base.
Yeah. It's very 70s.
This thing weighs.
It does, doesn't it?
It does weigh a lot.
Can I read you something?
Yeah.
So, Hansard. Do you know what Hansard is?
It's not.
So Hansard is the records. So if something is spoken in Parliament, when Parliament is in session, it's recorded, and it gets recorded in the Hansard. So every word, whether it's been Winston Churchill, or Peter Gibson, or Lola McAvoy's the new Darlington MP, if they're in the House and they are speaking in the House, it gets recorded in Hansard.
Right.
So you can go back through and see the record of it. And Jacob Rees-Mogg was quite famous because every time he spoke in Parliament, he'd then go down to the Hansards and check that it had been typed up correctly.
Wow.
Yeah. So here we go. Debated on Wednesday, the 17th of December, 1919.
Oh, my goodness
Right?
me. Yeah.
And it was, I think, Mr. Baldwin is the name I've got on here. I'm aware of reductions in the staff of government departments since the armistice.
Wow.
Yeah. The 5,679 new typewriters issued to government departments during this period provide annual wastage of machines. They estimated before the war 12% total numbers. And the replacement of hired machines by the government-owned machines. Consequently, the honorary member's deduction of that there is an excess of 208 in use on the 30th of November 1919.
Goodness me.
Yeah, new machines can only be I've jumped a bit. New machines can only be withdrawn and returned, awaiting repair, are available. The demands of typewriters, government departments are strictly scrutinised in the stationery office and refused if investigations. So even like a government level scrutinising the typewriter, that was being debated in terms of people going, stop buying too many typewriters, you're wasting government money.
You're wasting government money.
I just thought it was a really interesting thing to look back because it gets recorded at this moment in time.
Question that's just popped into my head.
Yep.
Obviously, these typewriters here, you know, when I watch old, maybe even not that old, I don't know what they're called. So, in a court of law, you see somebody that's got some kind of machine, but it's not a typewriter.
Yeah.
It's only got a few keys though.
Yeah.
Do you know what that is?
No,
Did you do the research? But do you know what I mean?
It's the record, isn't it? They call it for the record.
Yeah, but it's got funny keys on it, and I have to Google that. Was that based on the typewriter? Do you know?
I imagine so. Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't even know what it's called. I just know it's only got a few keys, and I don't know what they're doing with it. But it is in the the court.
Like this in the movies. Stenotype.
Wow. And what's that?
Most compact keyboard when pressing multiple keys simultaneously represents specific sounds or symbols.
And that's what I've seen them do. They're almost like pressing six or four keys at the same
Power
time.
Reporter use it. Yeah, you're right. I didn't even... That's cool.
Because I've seen that and going, what's that they're doing?
Yeah, look, it's like a little...
That's the one.
Yeah, there's like 18 keys and 2 rows, isn't there?
So what they must be doing is like that, press Q, T, L on this is actually something. Yeah, so
stenographers are a person trained to type and write in shorthand methods, enabling them to write as quickly as people speak. They can create lasting documentation of everything the court cases, from court cases to medical conversations, obviously useful in many legal settings. The skill also used for live closed captioning on television.
Wow.
I did wonder how they did the live captioning. I mean, I'm sure there's AI now that picks that up, but you never know. Like, we've done captioning, and AI would like insert a random word or put a swear word in accidentally when it wasn't. The word stenography is older than modern stenotype keyboards machine. It comes from Greek steno meaning narrow,
right,
and graphy meaning writing, narrow writing.
Well, there you go.
I didn't even know this. So the machine allows stenographers to type at rates exceeding 300 words a minute.
Oh my goodness!
In comparison to average speaking, about 150 words.
That is so clever.
Yeah.
I wonder what courts do nowadays. Is it literally all recorded on media?
Yeah, well,
it's so easy to do
they still have a
now.
record, don't they? But
yeah.
I mean, you could, with voice technology now, you could have an AI scraping that and then producing the caption.
I've got one of my lovely customers, shout out to Michael James from CLR. He's now on the verge of getting a Microsoft Copilot subscription. Probably not now after the outage. But the Copilot is what their biggest thing they're selling at the moment is that we could be having a Teams meeting, Adam. Talking as normally and as fast as we are now. And at the end of it, what Copilot will do is it'll take all of that audio, it'll summarize it textually, if that's a word, and then print out a summary. These are the agreed points.
Oh, I like that.
So, okay, Adam, well, we agreed that we will go out tomorrow at 10 o'clock at the pub. That
sounds good.
Sounds good to me. Let's make that a motion. But that is literally what it's doing, which is incredible.
So stenotype machines work by typing syllables rather than letters. Writing a word like calendar only requires 3 strokes instead of 8. So it'd be cal, then n, then d.
Duh, I knew that.
Yeah.
Well, that's incredible, mate. What another episode of looking back in time over these typewriters. Where would we be?
To get one.
What, one of those now?
I just feel that I need to have a
Just
go at
like
it.
dink, 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 dink. Excuse me.
Fairly simple. All court reporters are stenographers, but not all stenographers are court reporters. Well, there we go.
Well, there we go. Well, that has
Another
been
machine. I love
fascinating, mate.
So, I don't know whether we've digressed a bit far into the murky world of history, but I think we need to respect what's gone before. You're trying to stick the lid on, aren't you? You were there.
broke it.
You were there.
Was I there?
In there. Just do that.
There we go. There we go. There we go. No, that.
That's the other way around.
I found a small flaw in the mechanics of the working.
I give up.
Now that
it
working.
works. Now it can type.
Otherwise, it was dunk, dunk, dunk. Why is it not working? That is very,
So
very good.
look, I think, people might think I'm nuts for doing this and whatever, but I think it's important to look at where technology's come from. I've said this before with the cameras. I think it's really interesting.
It is really interesting.
I think,
yeah, no,
but
honestly,
a bit of mind.
really,
I don't know.
really
For
good.
me, it's a bit of mindfulness. So I can write a meaningful letter, and hopefully, it shows a bit more meaning in terms of just sending a WhatsApp message. So
No, absolutely,
thanks for
absolutely.
that. And it's an occasional thing. But I thought I kind of very quickly opened the rabbit hole into. So typewriter originally was starting to be used to basically help people who had sight issues. I was like,
Incredible.
that's amazing.
Who would have thought
So,
that,
yeah.
mate? Who would have thought? Congrats, my friend. That was a really exciting episode. Interesting.
Yeah, and we don't need a number one key because we can use the L.
Well, there we go. I'm going to use that from now on.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, mate. Random question.
Go on in, fire away.
Fire away. Next week's episode
Yes.
that we're not doing
Yes.
because what have we got?
Oh, event.
Event.
Yes, what's the question? Oh, was that the question?
No, the question is, are we going to record it for the podcast?
Yes, we are.
Excellent.
Yeah, so next week we are going to record our Cyber event.
Yeah.
We have bookings. Can't remember the exact number, but we do have
2.
bookings. Yeah, me and you.
Me and you.
Yeah, but no, we are going to do that. There are spaces still available.
Yeah.
So please, by all means, it's on Eventbrite. You can go on our social medias, either Resilient Business Systems or HubSpot Media, and find it on there. Search Take a Break for Cybersecurity Darlington. It should come up.
We still need to do a little silly video.
We do.
And then we need to post it all over social media next week. As I said, to be fair, I don't care if one person turns up.
Oh, no, we've got more than one. No.
If we can help that
we're
one
on about
person.
10 at the moment.
If we can help that 10 people, if we help 10 people.
We're around about 10 at the moment.
That's fine.
And it's
Absolutely.
not Michelle and my mum and Jess and Alina. It's
And people we've randomly dragged off the
actual
street.
people.
Yeah.
Ironically, what I'm interested to see is it's a free event.
Yeah.
So it's free on Eventbrite,
Yes.
right? We have had some interesting emails, which I can't work out if that's genuine or not.
Yeah.
And I'm like, is this the price of having a free event?
Free event.
You leave yourself open to essentially anyone could do it. So it'd be quite funny if, hopefully they are genuine people,
Yeah,
but I'm
yeah.
looking at the email going, not sure.
Exactly.
So it'd be great if they are genuine emails.
If not, we have only got 2 people turning up.
No, we haven't got all this. But if not, it kind of proves the point though. In terms
First
of their-
name, Harold. Second name, Hacker.
Harold Hacker. Yeah. HaroldHacker.com. So don't go to HaroldHacker.com. We don't know whether he's
We've
reputable.
no idea.
But yeah, so we have
Yeah.
got bookings, but we have also got some interesting bookings that seem to be a bit random.
Yeah.
I'm hoping they are random people that we haven't necessarily met.
Yes.
However, it'll be interesting on the cybersecurity event if we have been
Hacked.
not hacked, but victim of spam.
Yeah. No,
suppose.
exactly. That's part of the whole game.
I'm yet to see if it was a bot.
No,
that
we'll
has
get that
signed
done. But yeah, we need to do our silly video that we promised ourselves to do, and then we'll have a quick meeting early next week just to pull it all together.
We do.
Quick run through. But that'll be good to
But
do.
no,
mate.
I am rather excited. So just a quick run through on the agenda. It's 15 minutes tea, coffee, networking, chill out, just relax. Then me and Andy are going to waffle on for an hour.
Live demos.
Live demos,
Yeah.
which I'm excited and a bit scared of.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
Andy's doing that. I'm then going to do some social media scam, like talk about some of the social media scams I've seen,
Yeah.
because we're still seeing it on some accounts
I
in
know.
terms of various notifications and things, and then hopefully it'll just be packed full of insight and useful information that you can use and keep yourself safe online.
No, exactly. So not a problem.
This weekend, what are you doing?
After having a very, very busy week, I plan to do nothing.
Nothing.
I'm just
Good.
literally chilling out and playing a game, Prince of Persia, New Crown one.
Yeah.
I love the Prince of Persia back in the day, so I'm loving that.
I've got a throwback at the moment as well.
Oh, sorry. Go on.
Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition.
How good is that? I have got some news for you.
Back. Yeah, go on.
I think, let me just double check while you waffle about what else you're going to be doing.
Yeah, so this weekend I'm DJing tomorrow night.
DJ. Adam DJ in the house.
So, birthday party. Very much looking forward to that. I'm DJing, actually. My wife's there as a guest. So it'll be quite good.
There we go. I found the information I was looking for.
Go on in.
October the 21st of this year, one day before my anniversary,
Yes.
Factorial Space Age is released.
I did see a thing about that.
Yeah.
Steam.
I have already said, bearing in mind that it's released on October the 21st and my wedding anniversary is October the 22nd, by October the 23rd, I'm divorced. Because I'm literally
You
going,
won't have
no.
participated in the anniversary.
No, so yeah, I texted messaged my son this morning, James, who's like, he introduced me to it, and he went, great, another half of my life gone.
Yeah. I did some Factorial last week. I love it. Do you know what? I switch off. I'm looking forward to rugby season coming back. I've been doing pre-season. But
When does it officially start?
we've got pre-season warm-up games starting next month, basically.
At the wonderful Blackwell Meadows.
At the wonderful Blackwell Meadows. I was there running
A
around
lovely
the pitch
customer.
last night. Yeah, they are fantastic people.
Yeah.
I was there running around, doing my thing.
Doing your thing.
Prop forward. Yeah, doing my thing. But great. And then, this weekend. So DJing tomorrow night.
Where at?
And then at Blackwell Meadows, actually, because that's where the party is. Being booked independently, but yeah.
Lovely.
It was like, great. So
I'll
doing
get me and Michelle a gate crash.
do it.
No, don't do it.
Don't do it. So we're there for this event. My wife's a guest.
Oh, very nice.
So I was like, well, I can drive you home then.
Hey, because I'll be DJing.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. I was DJing in a barn on the North Yorkshire Moors last week.
Was there some good music?
There was some good moves.
Hey. Were you playing the song Who's Like Jagger?
yeah, exactly. Who's like Joe? Yeah, so
I'll stop there. I'll stop there.
You need to find another one. So that was in like torrential rain.
Oh, goodness me.
It
yes,
was fine. Yeah, like we're in this massive barn. I think it's a grain barn, actually, this one. Massive barn, really great people. But it was bouncing with rain, and I had to drive back in some of the most horrific floods.
But the barn must have been brilliant for the acoustics.
It was, yeah, it sounded
really
brilliant. And the noise
good.
just sort of carried.
Yeah.
Like it just came out. So it was brilliant. We had a really good night.
Good.
So I've got that. And then Inverness to go
I was
to
going
the
to say,
job
so
on
when are you
Sunday.
driving to Inverness?
Sunday afternoon.
Hang on a minute. 6-hour drive on a Sunday afternoon. You're not going to get there till late. Therefore, the podcast must be on the Monday.
What's this? Oh, yeah, it is, yeah.
Yeah. What's this?
Yeah, sorry.
Where am I?
Which
What-
podcast?
Which
No,
podcast?
The one I'm filming is on Monday.
And then
so we're going up on Monday and then come back Monday.
We're driving as well.
Yeah.
Goodness me. Is that because of the amount of equipment?
Okay. Yeah.
Goodness me, my friend.
Yeah. So
Is that in the HubSpoke mobile?
it is in the HubSpot Mobile.
Yeah.
It is. So I've got that to do. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Be great.
And will you be driving back on Monday night?
The plan. We'll see how we get on, but
Yeah.
the plan is Monday get
Right.
back. So we'll see. I'm just firming up the exact timings today.
Yeah, exactly. Because the podcast's only, about an hour or so?
Yeah. So
But set up time,
yeah,
etc.
set up time. There's a bit of extra filming that we're doing around the edges.
Yeah. So fingers crossed, maybe finished on the afternoon, but that's still a long drive back,
It
my
is.
friend.
It is.
So be
But
careful.
I've done
Be
this. I
careful.
will. But it's actually I did a job near north of Aberdeen once, and it's like similar height, although it's further north. But the roads are better, so
Yes.
it's less
Less.
sort of time. So
Yeah. But no,
I
good
will
luck
be
with that.
very careful with that.
Good luck with that, mate, and looking forward to catching up with you next week.
Providing all goes ahead. So So no exciting things.
Good.
Lots of busyness. A couple of weeks until holiday.
Another holiday.
Yeah, going to North Wales.
I'll get you. So am I covering for you again?
Probably.
Again.
You had a holiday.
Very true, actually, yeah. Oh, let's skip over that bit. Let's skip
although
over that.
you haven't missed a single episode of the
That's very
podcast.
true.
I was thinking about this morning. I felt guilty.
No, don't feel guilty, my friend.
So,
You've got so much work on. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll just let me know about that. We'll get a guest to step in. I got some good feedback from my son Dan about the
Yes.
Carl episode. The
yeah,
maze,
yeah.
great
Thought he
stuff.
might listen to
And
that.
then, can I be on the podcast? I was like, absolutely.
Yeah, of course he can.
Yeah, so we'll get him in for next week, and then not next week, the week after, and then that'll be great.
Yeah, but
I'll sit quietly again.
So we are, 100%. Yeah, that'll be good.
Yeah.
That'll be good.
Good insight.
I've seen Dan quite a bit in the last few weeks, running around reception.
Yes.
Time when I've seen him. Like, you're right. He's like, I'm looking for laptops.
Honestly, we've got an influx of laptops, which is great. I've got a couple of customers that are booming at the moment.
Because while he was running around doing that, I'm looking for microphones because I needed to. Basically, I've got some backup kit
Right, okay.
in case that kit goes down. Also, portable kit, so we can take it on the road a bit easier than
Absolutely.
having to lug everything. It's also battery powered, or I can use a battery pack.
Well,
So
very good.
It makes it a bit easier.
Yeah,
in terms of
exactly.
production.
Very good.
But yeah. So
Okay.
have a great weekend.
Thank you, sir. Same to you and same to our listener.
As 3.
Mark,
Hi, Mark.
Claire,
Hi, Claire.
you're Jill's mum.
She doesn't listen.
So we're down to 2 again. then.
Yeah.
Okay, Claire and Mark then. Not
Have a
a
good
problem.
weekend.
Have a good weekend, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.